Hi everyone. I'm out here in the garden because, I was doing so much gardening this morning and I had promised to do some readings and 4 people chimed in. This is the first edition of Ask Craggy. So I'm using my Lenormand deck here, and because this is one I want to put out there and play with and see if we can get some, energy and good answers going. So, got my little book here. And this deck is neat in that it does come with these little cheat sheets, which is wonderful. But do your own thing. And that's the one thing I'm going to put out for this video. Everybody reads cards differently. I do as well. I use a lot of my intuition. And I'm going to just pick 3 cards for each question. I'll read you the question and I'll just sort of throw some information out. And if you could be so kind as to get back to me and say, that helps, that didn't help, that is right on, it would be appreciated. Okay, so the first question in my little book down here, and by the way, this is so fun. My hubby just finished putting the seed on this yesterday, and it's fun to sit out here when the bugs aren't out, which today is a good day. All right, the first question. I'm not going to say who the questions are for. You will know your question. Because nobody really gave me permission to say their names. So the first question is from my trusty little book. I want to know the journey or experience I'll have living with my 2 friends in this new apartment. It's new to all of us, but it's not a new building. Okay, so we're going to shuffle that question in. This person wants to know the journey or the experience that they will have living with 2 friends in a new apartment to them. Okay, put your energies out there. You know who asked this question, and let's see if we can connect. Okay, first card coming out. Oh man. So this is sort of a neutral card, but it does bring in a man's energy, and this question is for a man. So the man is transforming, is changing. In this thing that you're about to embark on, this journey where you're going to be sharing an apartment with 2 other friends, there's going to be need for each of you, or one person in particular, to be flexible. It's going to ask that you transform some of your ideas, change some of your ideas, be flexible with some of your ideas when you're in this environment living together. That's what I got so far. Let's see what the next one is. Tower. Okay. So, for me, the tower is generally a government type of building or an established building. It can also be that feeling of isolation and loneliness. So I get the feeling with these cards that your journey, because we're asking about you, it's going to be one that does require you, yes, to be flexible, but I think some of the nature that you are, that being of who you are, I'm not sure that it's going to give you some of that downtime, that quiet time that each of us need, because there's 2 other energies in this journey with you, in this apartment. And it might be a little bit tricky for you to find those times when you can just be alone with your thoughts. I'm hoping that you don't have to make too many sacrifices for the situation to work. But it's this that I'm centering on, the last card, the Tower. It's a big moment for you. It's a big change for you. It might be asking you to really do some big changes in order to make this work. But I would also try to have a little space. I know you probably each have your own room, but sometimes someone's playing music, someone's talking really loudly, guests are coming over. I think you really would like to have some quiet. So whether there's a park nearby or you take a room a little bit distant from the others so that you can have that sense of peacefulness. So I don't look at that card as necessarily isolation, but being able to find peace, a little space of your own. So I hope that helps. We'll put those back in the card deck and we'll go on to the next one. So the next one, let me read this question. My life is changing and going in a whole new direction. Happening probably the end of September. My meditations keep giving me the message of trust. As someone who's always planning, this is totally different. What can the cards tell me about my journey forward? So another journey one. So this is going to be changing, life-changing for this person. Coming at the end of September, so there's still a couple weeks to go. And her meditations are saying, trust. Things will be probably fine. Sometimes we can get ourselves in a dither, can't we? Especially if you're used to making decisions and planning so much. And this one just says trust, let it unfold. That's what her meditations are saying. So we're going to put it out there. Is anything on this journey going to show up here in the cards that we can talk about? What can you tell us about this journey? Okay. Look at this journey as a gift. And when I see this card, bouquet, this is generally a woman, and it's nice because it is a woman we're reading about here. She's a very gifted woman. And to me, that is the bouquet in a bunch. I mean, this person has gifts. She's talented. She's giving. She's generous. And this journey then needs to be looked at as looking at all of those gifts that you have. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be sharing those gifts, but to sit back and consider all the gifts that you have, everything that you have, accomplished, and realize that you are a very gifted woman. Okay. Key. Now, this is where the answer is for me. Looking at the gifts are key. Looking at possibly what you can share with others on this new path is key. That is where the answer is. That is the heart of this 3-card spread once we get going. And Rider. So this tells me that, it's got a couple weeks yet before you really embark on this. And this is usually a card that says news is coming. And that could be ideas in your meditation again. But with the Rider, it's also movement. So if you could be looking at your gifts, not as an issue, as a problem, but as an answer, and knowing that movement is forward. And I like how the horse is moving towards the key. And news can always be coming with the Rider. And so be open for that. It's a 1. So it could be in the next day, it could be in the next week, it could be in the next month. But key news is coming. Key gifts are coming. This sits right in the center of it. So just be open to receiving. And with a key, a door opens. So as one chapter of your life now is closing, you've got the keys, you've got the gift, and answers are coming so that you can open up the next door. Yes, I like that. Okay, so that was number 2. So far, this deck is really nice in the hand. I like the way it sounds when we shuffle. I'm pretending that you're here. Okay, so question number 3. This one is interesting. I don't often get these kind of questions. The question is, do you see romance around me or coming into my life in the rest of 2025? Okay, so we're going to put it out there. We're looking for cards that will help this person on their journey, and just letting them know if during the next phase of 2025, what we got about September, we're in October, November, December, 3 more months. What does romance look like for this person? Ooh, ship. Okay, so my first thought with this one was not so much that if you're traveling, but it could be if you're on a holiday, an excursion, that might be where you meet someone. But being a ship, in some of the readings that I've done with Lenormand, that could actually be someone out of the norm circle for you. They used to always say a foreigner. So someone new possibly coming in to your life. Okay, let's see the next one. Cat. Now this one can be cat or dog. In this deck, I've left them all in. So cat is someone who is loyal. You know, I think of a dog more in that instance, and a cat can be a little bit fickle. And with the cat, to me, you've got that on again, off again. You know, sometimes cats are all over you and accepting that love and whatever you have to share, and other times they're like, eh. So, possibly meeting someone in the next little bit, and knowing that it might be sort of on again, off again. You might have to, and some romances are like that. They come on good and strong, and it's like, I need a little space. So watch for that. If you're that type of person that needs that little bit of space, that you don't want to be smothered. Okay, and the next one is mice. Yeah, I get the feeling that if you do meet someone, there's that uncertainty, and with the mice card, there's some things that just, they don't sit well with you. They're a little bit irritating, and maybe you can't put your finger on it right away, but sort of let that relationship develop slowly. Make sure you've got your own space. Okay, and the last one, hope that helps, is for a general reading. So there's no really deep question with this one. So this is about work, life, etc. Just a general reading. 3 cards will suit this person fine. Okay, so we're putting that out there. Ooh, they want to talk. They are jumping. Okay, so, ooh, there's a jumper. All right, ship again. Well, if there's any chance of travel, that's a good one. And it doesn't have to be a big vacation. It's just a little one. And experience something a little bit different, out of the comfort zone, out of the norm, which can be quite fun. Tree, upside down, but today we're not going to read it upside down. Okay, so there might be, not necessarily with work, but in life, taking a little bit of a vacation, a trip, but it might involve someone in the family. Spending a little bit more time with someone in the family. Oh, we got a wind coming up here. Good job, we're almost done. I hate not to take it as an upside down card because, you know, that is sometimes an answer. So if you've been spending a lot of time with family, I think the ship card is saying in the next little bit, venture out a little bit more. Venture out of the home a little bit more. If you're a little housebound, good time to, you know, do some of those day excursions. And I get the feeling with the tree upside down that you're feeling a little bit uprooted right now. You know, tree is usually family, solid, and I'm not going to go into the health things with this one. but I'm just going to say that if you're sticking too close to home, playing that safety card, you need to step out of that box a little bit. And the last card, ooh, the fox is upside down too. You need to trust a little bit. Trust in your way that you are moving forward. Trust in the new experiences that are coming to you. But with the fox upside down, I'm going to say too, watch out for a female that doesn't necessarily have your best interests. They tend to think of themselves first. And if you tend to be like the fox, a little bit sly and cautious and careful, then upside down is, let some of that go. Be willing to, be a little bit more adventurous, like the ship card. Step out of that safety zone and experience some things. Okay, everyone, that was an absolute blast, and I thank you for the 4 people who chimed in, because it does give me a chance to play with this lovely deck. And I think some people are interested in Lenormand, and the idea is, yeah, they can be blunt, but it gives you the answer, right? And that's what we're after. So, hugs to everyone. Hope that helps, and we'll catch you back here on Craggy again for Ask Craggy.